What's up, everybody? This is Colin. I just wanted to make another raw video kind of explaining what's going on lately with my trading and kind of explain why I'm switching strategies. It's honestly kind of crazy to think about. So let's just jump straight into it. Trading wise, this is probably the worst I've ever done. And you may begin to question, why are you doing this in the first place, right? Well, I'll get to that. But I am on a 6 losing streak now, and that's the most I've ever lost in a row. And I'm learning GXT. And if you don't know what that is, that's Garrett and T-Trades. They kind of made a model. I don't know the specifics of it, but I do know that I started learning it the 8th of January. So that is 4 days ago as of today. So my reasoning for doing that was because I originally was just really trading an entry model. I found that with SMTs and just inverse fair value gaps, that it was pretty inconsistent. And what I mean by that is you have to have a lot of discretion to be able to get payouts and to be able to trade it successfully. And the payouts that I did get, which were just 2, they were just $1,000 each, I had to use a lot of discretion to trade it. I really did. People can say you can trade it mechanically, all that good stuff. Sure, you can. But you have to tweak a lot of things, and at least with my personal experience, what I went through with it, it just got to the point where, in the beginning of January, there were 4 or 5 setups that would present themselves, and each one of them would lose. And I never took them, right? Because I had the discretion behind that to be able to not trade that, right? So what happened was the 8th of January, I took a trade and immediately got stopped out, right? And it was on NQ, and I think that was my 5th or 4th loss in a row. I think it was 4th. But I took that trade, got instantly stopped out, and was extremely, don't get me wrong, we always get aggravated depending on the person you are. I would like to think that I don't have any emotions when it comes to this, and ideally I would love to get to that point where I don't have to worry about that. But I was getting pretty aggravated. I'm not going to lie. It was a whole week and a half of just slop. And that's what I'm going to call it. It was just slop. You could not execute on anything. And I understand that regardless of whatever model you trade, you're going to have bad months, bad weeks, bad times trading it. I get that. I totally get that. But there's a difference between having that and it consistently, and I mean very consistently, failing. And that's what I started to find out with that model I was trading, was that it would fail a ton of the time, specifically if you just picked individual, inverse fair value gaps within the 30-second or even the 15-second, which is a brain rot to a lot of people, right? But it would consistently fail. Consistently. You had to have a lot of discretion to be able to trade it successfully, and I have traded it successfully. So that's not really my worry. My worry was that it would have gotten to the point where I would have constantly having to be dissecting each trade individually so fast, because a 30-second time window is not that fast. I could set up my targets, everything afterwards, but it got to the point where I was having to do it on every single trade, back to back to back to back. And I got tired of it. So in the group that I'm in, which is, I think it's Taurus Trading, right, with Grippo and Magnus, good friends of mine, I was asking, I was trying to figure out, like, hey, right, like, I got stopped down on NQ, but y'all are taking dubs on ES, YM, all these other assets. And I realized that the way GXD is traded is it's traded between the strongest, the mid, and the weakest asset, right? Ideally, if you want to be taking shorts, you would take it off the weakest asset, right? Or the strongest asset, you would want to be taking longs. Well, that given day on the 8th, the asset that I took to go long on was the weakest for the day, which was NQ. And it instantly failed, right? And then I'm seeing these other traders trading this model, and they're hitting TP within 30 seconds, a minute. They're hitting it pretty fast, pretty consistently, right? So I decided from that day on that I was going to learn GXD. And don't get me wrong, I have absolutely nothing to lose in any of this situation I'm in, right? And I mean that to the very bare bones sense of it. I have absolutely nothing to lose. I work 60 hours plus a week between all that I do, right? I work all the time. So I am surviving at best, right? Bills are fine. I've lived on my own since I was 18 years old. It's not a worry. I'm 22. That's not a worry. But I want to be consistently hitting 10-figure months. And genuinely, I've seen people go crazy, and I respect it. But from the bottom of my heart, if I made just $10,000 a month, that's it. $10,000 profit after tax, dude, I really do not care about all that extra money. I'm just going to be totally honest with you. It would be nice, right? And I know how human nature works. I'd probably get to that point, and I'd want more and more and all that good stuff, and that's fine, right? But genuinely, in my mind, right now, if I got to that point, I think I would be pretty... I'd be pretty good. And I mean that. So, ever since the 8th of whenever I decided I was going to trade GXD, I've just been diving into the model, and I've been learning a lot. And, of course, I'll keep you guys on track with what's going on with that learning process and how my trading's going. But, I have 5 evals with my funded futures, and I'm 2 losses away from blowing them. And to be totally honest with you, I am probably going to trade paper if I blow these until I get a hold of what I'm trading, the model, right? I get that I'm not going to pick it up that fast, learn it. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with going through these times of drawdown just to be able to intake this experience of the model I'm trading. That's okay. I'm fine with that. But I have very, very big goals this year. I have very big goals this year. And I need to be getting payouts monthly. I need to. It's not necessarily that I'm trying to blow these out of the water, but with what I've set in front of me, I really need to be moving at a consistent pace. So, I'm not going to lie, yesterday I studied GXD for like maybe 5 hours straight. Luckily it was my day off, so I didn't really have to do anything, but I am extremely, extremely hungry. Like... Probably the most gritty and hungered I've ever been to get this success that I'm after. Like, I genuinely, I wish I could express through the screen how, I'm essentially yearning for this at this point. I don't know a better word to come up with it, but I am dead set. I have no plan B. There's only plan A, and it's this. And I have to make it work. So, we're going to make it work, and we're going to be fine. But it's going to take time. And Me, as of everybody else, I hate that, but it's going to be a process, and I'm going to master it. I do not care. I'm going to master it. So, that is what's been going on with me recently. I'm not going to lie, it's been pretty difficult, rough, stressful, but who cares? I mean that in the nicest way possible. Who cares? I'm a grown man. I got to do things for my own good. So, we're going to be focusing on that, and hopefully, come around next week, I have a better update for y'all. But, yeah, it's been pretty awful. I'm not going to lie. It's been pretty rough. So, we're going to continue to knock out our goals, day to day. And we're going to continue to persevere and be who we need to be in this very moment. I'm not worried about the future. I'm not worried about the past. I'm worried about this present moment right here. So, I think that was all I really had to get off my chest. I plan to get better camera equipment. Honestly, lately I've just been using my phone. But I plan to get that intact and, do more content on the channel. And if you haven't seen me on Instagram, follow my Insta page, which is just, Colin Trades. So, yeah. I appreciate y'all for sticking by me and supporting me. I know that not many people are going to watch these, and that's fine. I don't do it for views. I do it to journal what's going on. So yeah, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to experience. And the loss I took today, I gathered something from it. I learned from it, and we're on to the next one. So, until next time, I will see y'all later.